All right, good. Are we ready to go, Brittany? All right, terrific. So welcome everyone to the June 16th virtual special meeting of the West Hartford Zoning Board of Appeals. I am Todd Doyle, Chair of the Zoning Board of Appeals, and I'd like to welcome everyone again. For the record, I'd like to note that the required meeting agenda and application materials are available on the town website. Because in-person attendance at meetings is likely to increase the risk of transmission of COVID-19, this hearing is being conducted in accordance with Governor Lamont's executive orders regarding the conduct of public meetings. Will the zoning enforcement officer please call the roll? Ms. Birmingham.
Michael D'Amato. Todd Doyle.
Here.
Angelo DiMatteo.
Here.
Michael Johnson.
Here.
John Harris. John is waving, he's here. And Bob LaChance.
Here.
Thank you, Ms. Birmingham. This is Todd Doyle, Chair again. For the record, I'd like to note we have a full quorum of the board. Board members and town staff are participating by WebEx. Members of the public may view the meeting live on West Hartford Community Television or on West Hartford Community Interactive Comcast Channel 5 and Frontier TV Channel 6098 or at whctv.org. The meeting also is being recorded for on-demand viewing, which will be available on the town website. Because of the virtual format of this meeting, there are some special rules and procedures that I need to cover before we begin. First, I ask all participants please to mute your microphones on devices when you are not speaking. Second, pursuant to executive orders, all speakers must state their name and title each time they speak. Also, I will ask members of the board and staff not to address other participants directly. Comments and requests for information should be made, quote, through the chair, such that after you state your name, simply preference the question or comment with through the chair, and when you are done, I will recognize the person most appropriate to respond. With that, will the zoning enforcement officer please proceed with the first matter for tonight's agenda?
The Town of West Hartford Zoning and Board of Appeals will hold its regular virtual meeting at 6:00 p.m. on Wednesday, June 16th, 2021. The public hearing will be conducted exclusively as a virtual public hearing in accordance with Governor Lamont's executive orders regarding the conduct of public meetings and proceedings, and will convene at 6:00 p.m. or as soon thereafter as the matter may be heard on the following. Petition number 08-21, 365 Ridgewood Road. Petition of C. Dinep and T. Efremoff requesting a variance to section 177-20D, requesting a plus or minus 9-foot variance to the 55-foot building line on Ridgewood Road for the projection of a one-car garage, R10 zone. At this hearing, interested persons may be heard or submit written communication as outlined below. The full application is available for public review by visiting the town's website and following the navigation path Government tab to Boards and Commissions, Zoning Board of Appeals, next meeting and agenda at www.westhartfordct.gov/government-services/boards-commissions/zoning-board-of-appeals or by email request to comment.tpz@westhartfordct.gov. Virtual meeting viewing instructions. The public hearing will be broadcast live on television on West Hartford Community Interactive Comcast Channel 5 and Frontier TV Channel 6098 and streamed live at www.whctv.org. Audio comment. Any interested persons may participate in real time by calling 1-408-418-9388 and using the following access code 173-764-5759 at 6:00 p.m. Participants using caller ID blocking will not be permitted to participate. Participants will be called in the order in which their call was received. When prompted by the chair and/or moderator, participants will have the permission to speak on matters germane to the hearing. Written comment. Any interested persons may submit a written comment via email to comment.tpz@westhartfordct.gov or via mail attention Zoning Board of Appeals, Planning and Zoning Office, Room 214, Town Hall, 50 South Main Street, West Hartford, Connecticut, 06107. Written comments will be made part of the record at the June 16th, 2021 public hearing and posted on the town's website. In order to be included as part of the record, comments must meet the following requirements. Comments must be received no later than 3:30 p.m. on June 16th, 2021. The subject of the email shall be application number and address, ZBA June 16th public hearing. The body of the email must begin with the interested person's full name and street address. Comments must be germane to the application and no longer than 500 words. The legal notice was posted on 6/4/2021. Todd Doyle, Zoning Board of Appeals Chairman, and Brittany Birmingham, Secretary to the Board. And the applicant has posted the signs on the property and has submitted the affidavit.
Okay, thank you, Brittany. The public was provided an opportunity to submit written comment on the application via mail and email. These comments have already been published on the town's website as a .pdf file and are embedded on the online agenda. For the record, the zoning enforcement officer will now read the names of any additional persons who submitted written comments. Ms. Birmingham?
We did have one submitted comment by Hattie Samba, and I'll read that. As a resident of 369 Ridgewood Road, I am a neighbor of Claudia Dinep and Todd Efremoff with a shared property line to their 365 Ridgewood Road address. I am in full support of a variance for the building of a garage on their property that will be adjacent to my property. The new building will allow them to be able to protect their vehicles and will provide some privacy screening between our properties. Thank you, from Hattie Samba, 369 Ridgewood Road, West Hartford, Connecticut.
Okay, thank you. Members of the public are welcome to continue sending comments to comment.tpz@westhartford.gov, and those comments will be distributed to members of the board and also read into the record. Following the testimony of the applicant, the public who may have called in during the meeting will have a chance to comment about the current application, both for and against. Upon the conclusion of the applicant's response to any comments, and if there are no further questions from the board, the public hearing will be closed. It is the practice of the board to render a decision on an application the same night following all items on the public meeting agenda. I'd like to conclude by thanking everyone in advance for your patience, and with that, will the applicant please proceed with their presentation? Ms. Dinep.
Yes, hi, I'm Claudia Dinep from 365 Ridgewood Road in West Hartford. Thank you all. We are applying for a variance because we purchased the house 2 years ago, and it doesn't have a garage. Despite that, we really loved the house and decided to purchase it. The realtor at the time had said there's some sort of permit out or available for a garage. We didn't really pursue looking into that. But we looked at several different locations in the front of the property. It's quite heavily wooded and has a lot of very large rhododendron shrubs that really screen the house from the road. And in looking at different locations for a single car garage, we're looking at something that's 10 by 20, really pretty much the minimum size possible. And also sort of to keep in line with the character of the neighborhood. Several houses along Ridgewood Road have these single car garages, small little outbuildings in front, in their front yards. And it's sort of this small, scale that we're looking for. And we included a little image of what we're trying to build. And so we looked at several locations, and really it's it's a tight, lot in a way, with all the vegetation. And one of the things we're trying to avoid is blocking the driveway. Our primary entrance, it's noted in the plan, is not really the main entrance, but it's the little side entrance to the left. In the courtyard area, and that's directly to the kitchen and living spaces. That's the only entry we use. And so putting a garage really at the end of the drive would block our view of the driveway and the street. It would block some windows. And putting the garage closer to the house really would mean that we'd have to remove some really nice large oak trees that sort of are the character of Ridgewood Road. So we're hoping to take advantage of the little road drive pull off, the little parking bay on the left, to make that, which is already paved, a little, you know, access to that 10 by 20 garage. And then we'd have a 2-foot setback from the property line and a 2-foot setback from the that white oak tree, which we hope will continue to grow. We're also looking at putting posts in, not pouring a foundation, to really help keep those trees healthy and, you know, alive. So that's what we've been looking for, and that will bring us about 9 feet in front of the building line.
Okay, and then Ms. Dinep, so if your garage is where it's situated in the plans, how close is the rear of the garage to the first oak tree, to the closest oak tree?
As shown, it's about a 2-foot setback from the tree.
2 feet. And is that enough according to the arborist? I mean, I honestly don't know. I'm just kind of curious as to whether that tree could cause problems for the garage or vice versa.
Well, I think because we're using posts instead of a poured foundation, we're hoping to avoid excavating the root system there and allow the tree to, you know, it's really the paving that impacts the root systems. So we're hoping to keep that mostly intact. Yeah, and we've also gotten that tree fertilized, so we're hoping that in addition to that, it'll really help maintain the health of that tree.
Okay, and then just another question. The other side of the house, that would be the north side of the house.
Mm-hmm.
Is it not possible to put the garage? I understand your driveway is on the south side. I get it. Is there anything preventing you all from putting the garage on the other side of the house?
I guess there it would just cover our entire front living room area and the window. It would really block that. I mean, there's a little area I suppose it could go into with the road, between the rhododendrons. We'd have to cut some of the rhododendrons, but then it would block the main entry to the house, in fact.
I'm just trying to look at the diagram here.
I think we would have to then also probably do additional paving
In front of the house.
in front of the house adjacent to that white oak in order to even have a turnaround. So if you're pulling out of the garage towards the south, right? Because the doors would be then south facing.
No,
right?
I was thinking the same orientation, only on the.
Oh, the same orientation. Then we'd have to pave, yeah. We'd have to widen the driveway, I suppose, and yeah, we'd have to widen the driveway. And that would take out a few trees on that side as well, and quite a bit of rhododendrons, and it would block the front door directly. Yeah, yeah. I think it would be further also in front of the building line, maybe? I'm not sure.
As I'm looking at, and this is, what page is this? This is page 7 of 13, and it shows Richard Woodworth. It shows the two circles, the big circle and the little circle, and it shows an outline of the proposed garage, 10 by 20. It's kind of a peach-colored sheet. And I'm wondering if on that peach-colored sheet, I don't know if you can see this guy, if on that peach-colored sheet, you could move this garage to this side. You could push it behind the building line. And without blocking the main door, because you'd be on the other side of the house, you'd be up here.
My only concern with that, Chairman, would be the relocating of the driveway. It would either have to cross in front of the building or the house, or they would have to make a new apron to
Oh, yeah,
Totally.
no, yeah,
totally, switch over that driveway to the other side.
yep. And actually, Ms. Birmingham, while I have your ear,
Mhm.
what is the setback across Ridgewood Road? Is it 55 feet all the way along on that side?
I'd have to check that. I know it is for a good portion of it. And you can see with the houses there that it's the same. And I'd have to check to see exactly when it changes or if it
Okay.
does.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, if you could ask Brittany also what the setbacks on the side yards are?
The side yard setbacks are 10 feet. But because this is a detached structure, it only has to be 2 feet from the side yard setbacks.
Thank you very much.
Yes, and Commissioner Harris, we heard from the applicant that that does meet the 2 feet setback on that on the south side there. I think that's south. Okay. Are there any questions from other members of the board for the applicant?
Yeah,
Angela,
Mr. Chairman, go ahead, Angela.
thank you.
Commissioner
Just-
DiMatteo?
Thank you. Claudia, the post that you speak of, so the garage is going to be sitting on, when you mention post, what is that? What do you mean by post?
Yeah, you should ask my husband. He's talking about having, so rather than a poured foundation,
I understand, yeah.
yeah, so then
Yep.
it would be up a little bit on posts somehow,
So-
but I
Okay.
don't know.
I guess
don't know
it wouldn't be gravel, some half-inch gravel that raises it, or is that, okay.
I think, yeah, that it would be gravel instead of like a poured concrete foundation, but I'm not entirely sure how that
Okay.
is planned.
I just didn't know if he was going to put it on posts to raise it off the ground. That's
Oh,
not- That's not the case, right?
I don't think
Just
so.
out of
I'm not really sure. I'm
Okay.
not really sure. Yeah. But there are ways of pouring foundations and retaining the tree roots primarily. I've been told, but I'm not sure. But we just want to be very careful not to, obviously, otherwise we would cut the trees down and put the garage, closer. But yeah, but the goal is to really try to preserve them.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question for the applicant.
Yes, Commissioner Harris.
If I understand you correctly and your plans, you're asking for a variance with respect to the building line to put the garage as far to the south as you can. But you could possibly, well, there's nothing that would prevent you from putting the garage where it shows, again, on that same document that the chairman was showing you a moment ago, to move it what would be essentially 10 feet to the north and a little bit to the west, so that it would line up with the driveway. But your concern is that would then block the window of the south wing of the house. Is that right?
Yes, and my husband Ted just joined us.
Hi, sorry, I had a meeting.
So that's our main entrance right now. Do you see that labeled as primary entrance? Yeah. So that's where we come in and out, when we bring groceries home, That's how we get in the house. And so it would be right in front of how we use our primary entrance right now.
We would have to either walk through the garage or walk around the garage, and it would completely kill up the visibility we have to the street, so we wouldn't see who's coming, like delivery people, whoever. We wouldn't be able to see them. So currently, we have a really nice sight line from our living room window directly to the street, and from our front door as well.
Thank you.
Do we have any other questions from the board for the applicant? Seeing none, is there anything that you'd like to add?
Well, if I say something, it'll probably reiterate what my wife Claudia has already said, but we have the visibility concern, and we don't want to take the trees down because we bought this house because of all of the trees in the neighborhood, and we really appreciate the passive cooling that it provides for our house. So in our estimation, this is the best possible solution for us currently. Also, we're not endowed with a large amount of money to build this. So this would be the most economical for us to build a small garage on this site, on the existing site that we've outlined.
Thank you. Okay, all right. And Ms. Birmingham, are there any callers, either for or against, anyone from the public who'd like to comment on the application? I don't see any.
Rob, do we?
Mr. Chairman, I don't see any call-ins today.
No other call-ins. Okay. All right. So, Ms. Dinep, I'd like to thank you for your presentation. This will conclude the public portion of the hearing. You are welcome to stay on and hear our deliberations, but those deliberations usually do not call for, back and forth comment with the applicant. So thank you very much.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thanks. This is an interesting one. This is a really narrow lot. You see it's got its challenges. I was out there today and the neighbor's doing some other work, the neighbor to the south. I understand wanting to keep the trees. I understand the sight line, especially on a busy street like that. You probably have people pulling in their driveway all the time. And I think 55 feet is a heck of a large setback requirement. 55 feet is pretty big. So I'm also cognizant of the fact that the garage isn't some mammoth, 4-car structure. It is the minimum. They want to put their bikes away. They want to put their lawnmower, their car. I'm sympathetic to the application, and I think there are a few other places they can put. I mean, we thought about moving it around, but I think you're right, Brittany. They're going to have to pave their whole front yard, and that's not optimal. I don't know. I'm curious what others think.
Mr. Chair, just for procedure, I'll make the motion to approve the application first.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Can I get a second? All right. Thanks, Angelo.
And then I agree with you, Mr. Chair. I mean, I think the compelling hardship would be that you don't want to rupture the natural foundation of the trees that attract a lot of people to that neighborhood, provide that level of privacy, provide the attractability of, having that inclusive nature of the house, which I think makes sense that they want to build it, as you said so well too, the small structure to conform to the original design of the house and where it could be. And it seems like a very modest variance, in my opinion.
I agree. Any other comments from others?
Todd, Angelo, just to add to that, also, I think also the access in case there's a fire, to enter the house. And on their, see a letter here, bullet point 4, they bring that up. So I think that kind of adds to the comments already stated.
They don't have a whole lot of options, it seems to me. Yeah. Bob, you have any other comments, or you think we're ready to vote?
Yeah, me personally, I think we're ready to go. I like it. I know the area very well. I drive by it all the time when my kids in sports and know that house very well.
Okay. Commissioner Harris, anything to add
Yeah.
before we vote?
Yeah, I'm circling back to where I've been earlier, and I think I'm hearing the answer to the question I have, which is one of hardship. They could build the garage 10 feet to the north and a few feet to the west, and not impinge on either the building line or any setback requirements. So they would not have to be here. And so the question is there sufficient hardship that they have shown to justify the moving of the garage to where they wish to have it? And I agree with all of the comments that the other commissioners have stated, and so I guess I come down on that's the same side. But when I first looked at the drawings, that was my concern.
You know what's interesting about that, John, is that we also have an ordinance, and Brittany, you'll correct me if I'm wrong, I hope, but we also, if there were no garage, we have an ordinance that prohibits parking vehicles in front of the living space. So you could build a garage in front of your living space, but you couldn't park a car in front of your living space. It's one of those odd paradoxes. Do I have that right, Brittany?
So you have to have parking behind the building line in order to park in front of the building line, and you can't ever park in front of living space, in front of the building line.
So, so you got to build a garage to block your view to park in front of the living space.
Well, if you're behind, you don't have to have a garage. You can have a space behind the building line.
Behind, but we're not behind. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So it's just one of those odd paradoxes. Okay, I think we're at a place where we're ready to vote. Ms. Birmingham, would you please do a roll call vote for us?
Michael D'Amato, Todd Doyle,
Yes.
Angelo DiMatteo,
Yes.
Michael Johnson,
Yes.
John Harris,
Yes.
and Bob LaChance.
Yes.
The variance passes unanimously.
All right. Thank you, Brittany, and thank you, applicant. We're sympathetic to your plight. We get it, and good luck with the garage. Thank you for coming before the board.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
So, Brittany, do we have minutes to approve?
We do have minutes, but we don't have enough commissioners present to vote on them. So
Okay.
we will have to.
In that case, I personally will make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I will second.
All right. All those in favor, Ms. Birmingham?
Todd Doyle,
Yes.
Angelo DiMatteo,
Yes.
Michael Johnson,
You bet.
John Harris,
Yes.
and Bob LaChance.
Yes.
All right.
Unanimous vote.
Thank you, Brittany. Thank you, commissioners.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
You guys.
Thanks,
All right,
everyone.
maybe we'll be in person next time, right, Brittany?
Yeah.
Oh, excellent.
We'll
Big
see.
news.
I'll confirm, but that's the plan.
All right, that'd be good.
Excellent. Good
Thanks
news.
again. All right.